Hello, this is Anita Shannon, and we're here to talk about sanitation for cupping equipment. We've had a lot of questions from people, especially over the last year with COVID, of how to sanitize the cups, keep everybody safe, keep our clients and patients safe, and ourselves. So we did a lot of research and we found a lot of great products out there. So we're going to go over a few things just to answer a lot of questions. So this is our little the MM600. It's one of our machines. And the biggest thing is sanitizing these machines without damaging them. Very often I like to use wipes as part of my sanitation. You all know this is one of my favorites. And we've had some problems with them being too moist, too wet, or a different maker, and it degrades part of the machine. The biggest issue being this on and off switch. If you're wiping it down and you're getting fluid in around, it's going to short out the switch. So we had to find some ways to avoid that. And please don't ever spray your machine down with a sanitizer. The same thing will happen. So when I'm using this machine, I'm touching, of course, the touch screen, touching the on-off switch, and then I'm touching this knob here to increase my suction strength. So I came up with something super simple years ago just because I didn't want to be wiping my machine off all the time. I am a huge fan of plastic wrap. So what I do is I cover the machine, I cover that screen with plastic wrap. You can go right over it and attach to the front here and attach to the back, or you can go sideways and just sometimes you might need to tape down if you do that. So I kind of like it where I do it across the screen, make sure it's all covered, and then I attach it to the black front and the black back, and that gives me a fully protected screen. So whenever I touch it, I'm touching the plastic wrap and not the screen. The other thing I touch is the on-off switch and, of course, the volume button. Volume button I touch a lot more than the on-off switch. So just tear a very narrow strip of your plastic wrap, and then I take that and I just wrap it right around the knob. That little tuck in there, you'll get your own little way of doing it. Now every time I touch this to adjust on or off, well, not on or off, up or down, I'm protected and my machine's protected. So I just don't ever touch my machine. Usually when I'm turning the on-off switch on, I may even use part of this plastic, just turn it on, put the plastic back, or you could just keep a little piece there. It's just a really nice way to not have to sanitize your machine every time after a client, because you need to do that. So this keeps it nice and protected. At the end of the treatment, I just take all of my plastic wrap off and boom, into the trash. So that's it for the machine. If you do want to wipe it down, please make sure your wipe is almost, like a dry consistency, not sopping wet. The other thing you can do is a paper towel with a sanitizer. This is Pure Green 24. And again, don't saturate the paper towel and wipe your machine down with that. And then I go over it with a dry paper towel after. After I use one of these wipes, I'll use a dry paper towel, make sure I didn't leave any moisture anywhere. And after doing this with the Pure Green 24, same thing. Just make sure I didn't leave any excess moisture. So as far as wet sanitizers, again, these have been in use since the dawn of dirt. Our favorite here that we found is Pure Green 24. Extremely safe, extremely effective. The nice thing is no aroma. I do love Benefect and I love our 7th generation, but for some people the aroma can be strong. So this is one that's a really good option. There won't be any aroma in the room. So again, you can put that in a spray bottle. So if you want to spray your table down, you want to spray your counters down, anything, please make sure you spray them and leave it sit for about 2 minutes. Then go back and wipe it out. Give it some time to work. That's the strongest thing with these sanitizers is spray on, wipe off is not going to give you the sanitation that you want. You need to leave all of these sit for a few minutes. One nice thing you can do is a wet sanitizer. Good old Tupperware. So I usually use a much bigger unit, but it would have been awkward to have that on the camera. So this is full of Pure Green 24. Please make sure when you fill it, though, that you don't go all the way to the top. Leave some room for your cups or you're going to have overflowing sanitizer. Please wash your cups before you put them in your sanitizer. This is, as I said, a wet sanitizer. So you would be changing this out probably about once every 5 to 10 days of work, 5 to 10 business days of work, depending on how high a volume, how many cups you use, and how clean you get your cups before you put them in there. So I use fractionated coconut oil. It's much easier for me to clean my cups because that's water soluble. But find something that will remove any kind of oils you use, any residue, then you want to put those in your wet sanitizer. Now, one really fun thing you can do with a wet sanitizer is you can do it with just water. I know that sounds weird, but what you're going to do is put in a UVC submersible sanitizer. This is so cool. So you can have a nice big Tupperware unit and you're just going to put this in with water. It has a timer on it and everything, and you set it to the time you want, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whichever you have chosen, and leave the room or cover it up, whatever you need to do. So if you want a real double whammy, if you have some suspicions that your cups got contaminated, you could do the Pure Green 24 and this, which is incredible. That is going to just knock everything out you could possibly think of. So these are a really nice option, is the submersible UVC that you can use with your wet sanitizer. Now let's say you don't have room for a wet sanitizer. A lot of us don't. Again, this is a much smaller piece of Tupperware. The big one takes up some space on the counter or in your cabinet. If you have no other way to integrate UVC into your room, this is a wonderful way to do it. This is a separate unit, you can see, and it plugs and unplugs right here. It has a timer, everything you need to set it, and it even comes with adhesive two-sided stickies. So you could do a drawer, you could put this in a cabinet, you could do all kinds of things with this. Please remember, when it is running though and plugged in, you will have this cord coming out of the drawer. So the cabinet also works well, but just be aware you're going to have a little bit of a gap because of this. But a really inexpensive and wonderful way to put a UVC sanitizer in use without spending very much money or adding another case or something sitting on your counter. These are wonderful. Now, they also do come, if you don't like the two-sided stickies, they do have full hardware. So if you want to really mount it to that cabinet door, it'll mount and stay. One last thing with the submersible one, it even comes with its own little suction cups and things so you can put it on the top of the lid of your sanitizer, whatever you want. These come with all kinds of nice little ways for us to use them effectively in our room. Now, a big favorite are the UVC cases. This is a monster case, very big. And the lid, you can see, comes up, over, and overlaps once you get it lined up right. So it overlaps. You won't, if your cord's coming out here, it won't matter because it won't make a gap. So you get the same unit I just showed you that you can use to make your own drawer. And this adheres to the top. Please don't use hardware on this. Definitely use the two-sided stickies to attach that. Now this comes with this case. The one thing I love about this case is our machines fit in. Both of them, the MC600, the MM600, everything fits in there. And cups. Please remember with UVC, it will only sanitize the surface of an opaque item. Anything that is clear, it will sanitize right through that. So the clear cups are always important to us just for treatment, but for UVC sanitizing, your best bet is to have clear cups and to realize that if you put your machine in here, it's only going to sanitize the surface that the light hits. So be really cautious about that. But this is just, if you have a lot of cups or if you use these really big Mondo cups a lot, you might want the bigger case. And they do fold flat when you need them to. I mean, it will condense into a very flat little pancake for storage. If that one's too big for you, we do have a smaller unit, and I love this one. So this works even well when you're out on house calls. So the lamp is already built into it. It's already installed. And again, it has that same overlapping lip that the big one has, so that when your cord is out, you don't have your lid lifted up. Nice design, really nice design on this. It's by a company named Spider. Or Spider, I don't know how you pronounce that. I always say Spider. The one nice thing about it too is it comes with this little grate at the bottom, a little rack. So what I do is I put my hoses in first. So those go on the bottom. The rack actually goes over it. And now I can start putting my cups and everything in there. So the UV light will sanitize right through these clear cups and get right to my hoses. I love this little case. It's a great case and really good for out calls. It does come with a carrying strap. And this also folds flat for storage. These fold into little pancakes. For the Mac Daddy here, this is my real favorite. This is what I use quite a bit in my practice. And these are UVC lamps. Got a big one, and we got the smaller one. This one will do up to about 400 square feet if you leave it on for about an hour. If you do 15, 20 minutes, it'll do about 200 or so square feet, and that's the size of most of our treatment rooms. This one will do quite a bit larger square footage, up to about 600 some square feet, and that would have to be left on an hour. So when I leave for the weekend, this goes out in the waiting area and reception area and stays on for an hour. This will automatically turn off. Both of these have timers on them. You don't have to worry about them running all weekend while you're gone. Or at night. You might want to do this every night. If you have any thought that someone's been in your place that has a cough or doesn't sound good or any kind of bug, not even to think COVID, I will put this out that night and clear the whole waiting area, and it will clear it. The nice thing is here's my machine. It's sitting right next to my lamp. So when I turn this on in my room for 10 minutes in between my clients, it's sanitizing my machine. My cups are all sitting right there on their towel. So I don't have to do anything else. All I do is turn my lamp on and leave the room. Please put a sign on the door, do not enter, so that people don't go in. The really nice thing about this bigger unit is if you're someone like me and you forget things in your treatment room, I've got a little remote. I can turn it off before I go back in the room and grab what I need and then turn it back on. So that is really handy for me. The other thing is it comes with protective eye gear. That you can't find your remote, the light's on, you forgot something in there, your phone, just put these on. Now you can go in and you're protected from the UVC. Don't stay in there too long though. You know, this is not something you want to be inhaling for a long period of time or exposed to, even with your eyes, even with the protective wear. This unit is awesome. It does not have the remote, but if you're somebody who doesn't find that you've forgotten your phone in your treatment room all the time, this has its timer. It will go for the 5-10 minutes you set it, or the hour, whichever one you choose, and it will turn right off. And again, if you need to go in, just find your protective eye gear. The protective eye gear comes with the bigger one. It doesn't, but these can be bought separately if you want to have a pair. So this will sanitize my whole room. the top of my table, my countertops, everything that it can get to. It won't sanitize through the table, of course, because it's opaque. But this is one of the best protections I've found for our treatment rooms, for our clients, patients, for us. So we've given you quite a few great choices here. Big believer in the UVC if you haven't caught on to that yet. But wet sanitizers and different products are also a great way to start. If you have any questions, just let us know. And thanks for your time. Bye.